Welcome back to ARC Maine. This Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. is a 17th Century Foodways over in Bath along the Kennebec River.
And what a great way to celebrate spring and to check out some free demonstration of 17th century food preparation. Joining us this morning is Matt Blazik, the Director of Educational Operations from Maine's First Ship. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And I love all this. We'll get to this in just a few minutes. To begin, can you explain a little bit about what the event is this upcoming Saturday and where it is?
Sure. So this is a 17th Century Foodways event, and it's being put on by Maine's First Ship, which is located in Bath, Maine. We're at the old Bath Freight Shed at 27 Commercial Street, right down there on the water. And what the event is it's an educational event in the morning, which is free to the public. So there'll be people there. Our chef, Sam Collins, he is a great historical reenactor and schooner chef. He's actually a really well-known schooner chef up in the mid-coast. He'll be doing some open fire cooking for us of 17th century recipes.
Nice.
We have a chef, Joe Robbins, who is actually he's a 2024 James Beard Rising chef nominee. And his main thing is he's a member of the Penobscot Nation, and he's trying to bring Wabanaki foods and recipes into the mainstream. And he's going to be there doing some sort of experimental Wabanaki cooking for us, making a beanhole supper type meal.
Yummy.
So, and then after there'll be other people there teaching kids how to churn butter. There'll be another reenactors there, a man from Connecticut named Axel Boy, who's a 17th century reenactor with the New Plymouth Guard down in Massachusetts. He'll be talking about sailors' clothing and sort of life on board and stuff like that. And we'll have this game set up if kids want to try that, or adults can try it too.
Yes, and we can play this in a couple minutes.
Definitely.
Here, yeah.
And that morning part is all free to the public. And then in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, we have a ticketed luncheon. And that's where people who buy tickets for the lunch can actually eat the food that they've seen being cooked for them in the morning. So I think we have 9 tickets left for that. And
this is a popular
event. Sounds like a lot of people want to get involved. So how exactly did you get involved with Maine's First Ship?
How did I get involved? Yeah. That's a long story. So I've been a historical interpreter for about 20 years now.
Wow.
And I have been doing it independently. And I actually helped out at some summer camps that they ran, bringing kids in, teaching about the ship, doing different historical activities. And we talked about things going on, and the then executive director decided that she wanted to really start ramping up her educational offerings for the organization, and they brought me in. So I've been there for a little over a year now.
Wow, that's awesome. So based on your website, you talked about this a little bit when you were explaining what the event is. It sounds like there are a couple of demonstrations people can watch.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about the demonstrations themselves?
So like I said, there's going to be the cooking demonstrations, so they can actually watch how the food would have been cooked over an open fire.
What kind of food?
So they're going to be doing a salt cod stew.
Okay.
They're going to be doing a beef stew.
Yum.
And a number of other different side dishes as well. And then, of course, Jeff Robbins is going to be talking about the beanhole dish that he's making. He has a really interesting theory about how this meal that we take as being very quintessentially New England, you know, the beanhole supper, right?
Yep.
How it has roots in the indigenous population, because sort of cooking things in a hole in the ground for long, slow periods of time is something that was widely done by the Wabanaki. And so it's not far off. And beans are themselves a New World food. So he's sort of putting 2 and 2 together and seeing, well, maybe this is something that came from something they did. So he's sort of exploring that. Like I said, we'll have people talking about the clothing that the sailors and the colonists would have worn. There'll be people talking about agriculture, what the food that they brought with them, what they would have grown here to cook, what the Wabanaki, how they adapted some of the Wabanaki's agricultural technologies and things like that. So we have a whole great deal of things going on for the day, and hopefully the weather's going to be nice, because it needs to be happening outside.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's rainy, a little rainy right now, but we'll obviously have more details on that.
I know, you never know.
Just a quick question too, Maine's First Ship, does this mean I've never been over in that area, but are there big ships there that people can?
So Maine's First Ship, we built the reconstruction of the 1607 pinnace Virginia that the Popham colonists originally built at the Popham Colony in Phippsburg in 1607.
Amazing.
So over the past, basically they laid the keel in 2011, and we finally launched the ship. Like I can see the picture on the screen, that's the ship right there. We launched her in 2022. The ship won't be there for the event. She's actually currently here in Portland at the Portland Yacht Services, being hauled out, having her bottom scraped and some repaint and maintenance, just regular maintenance. Ships are almost living creatures on their own, so you need to take them out of the water every once in a while, and make sure they're doing okay. So, but she'll be back actually later that afternoon. She'll just miss the event. But then starting in May, when we open up our visitor center, the Jane Stevens Visitor Center right there, we have the ship open for tours. We have tours of the facility. We have a small museum that we're constantly sort of working on and growing, and then of course we have the ship, and we do a number of ticketed public sales throughout the season too. So you got to check our website, mfship.org, in order to see when we have tickets available.
And we're running out of time here, but can you quickly just explain what this game is here?
This is a game called Skittles.
Okay.
This is basically a precursor to bowling. And what they would have done is they would have set these up nine pins, and you can give it a try. So what you got to try to do is you got to try to knock down the. You got to wear the. You got to wear the thrum cap.
Is that a hat?
This is a thrum cap.
Put it on, Emily.
Here you go. Hold that.
If you're doing a 17th century game, you got to wear a 17th century hat. So that's a thrum cap.
You look pretty good. Love it.
So all right. So what you got to do is you got to throw the ball, try to knock down that first pin first. You can chuck it or just roll it. Or, hey, you got 3 pins down, so you're already winning the game.
What?
And so, so basically now that you knock the first pin down, there's so many different variations of this, but now that you knock the first pin down, you can start counting what other pins you take. So you've already gotten 2 points. So if I were to go again, we don't move the pins out of the way, I would try to bowl down the other pins and see who can get more points at the end of it.
So will people be able to get the hats at the event?
This is my hat. This is my hat, my personal hat. But that hat is actually, we do have that for sale at our gift shop. We have a small gift shop. So those are handmade by our own volunteers.
Love it.
So
they're great.
Yeah, they're really warm in the winter.
Maybe you should wear that for storm coverage.
I guess
the next
so.
time
I guess
we have a storm.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was
and
a lot
then
of
your
fun.
event, once again, is this Saturday from 9 to 12:30.
At the visitor center in Bath.
Great.